just can't wait to see you cry.
All right, we are back. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas. Now, you're telling me a story about this guy who was supposedly going to set off a dirty bomb in New Hampshire, but his wife shot him in the head?
Yes, that is correct. Hang on one second. I have the link right here, actually. The original story is off of WikiLeaks.
All right, let's see if this guy... Hold on one second. I want to see if they can pull this up. You guys ready? I want you to pull this article up. Go ahead.
Cool. The title, The Dirty Bomb That Disappeared.
Now, what are they saying? Was this guy a scientist? What's his deal?
Okay, so no, not at all. And that's the crazy thing. Okay, apparently I'll just read an excerpt out of this. On the wrong side is the body, James G. Cummings, a white supremacist millionaire found in his Belfast home on December 9th, 2008, shot to death. After local police attended the scene, the FBI moved in and sealed off the building, and men in protective suits descended on the home, but police refused to comment on what they found. Mrs. Cummings was taken into custody. And
so this guy was a white supremacist, supposedly?
Supposedly.
Do we have a name on this guy?
James G. Cummings.
James G. Cummings. Okay. Well, this is all very interesting to me. It definitely is worth looking into, and the fact that the media didn't report on it and fearmonger about it,
exactly,
it tells me that maybe it was a real threat or something else entirely was going on. I mean,
that's what it seems. Here's the thing. Let me just read this. According to the FBI report, Cummings had 4 lots, 1-gallon containers of bomb-grade peroxide, uranium, and thorium, lithium metal, thermite, aluminum powder, and beryllium. Now, this is a guy who's an idiot, who's rich, who has no clue how to make a bomb, just merely, money to make the world go round, as one says.
Well, how much money? They said he was a multimillionaire, or he wasn't a billionaire, was he?
No, they say he was a white supremacist millionaire.
White supremacist millionaire. Well, I'm going to look into it. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Absolutely. And I'll check it out, man. Who knew? All right, let's go to Ryan in California. Ryan, you're on the line.
Hey, Jason.
How you doing, sir?
Good. At my school today, there was like a whole class devoted to global warming by a teacher.
Oh, yeah. Well, that happens. I mean, in these little propaganda institutions, I know I had my fair share of classrooms and days dedicated to the environment. What was it? Earth Day was a big thing, and of course, global warming, and then it was the evil chlorofluorocarbons, and now it's the evil carbon dioxide. What kind of propaganda were they spitting at you all day?
He was just saying how all the cars and charcoal and all the CO2 stuff is ruining us.
Yeah, people don't understand this, but your delicious barbecues, the charcoal barbecues out there, one of which is the very great place Brooks out in New York. Anybody who's an upstate New Yorker knows what Brooks Barbecue is. I used to work in a barbecue pit for Brooks, and we use charcoal. And I don't think that businesses like that are going to be able to stick around because of the price they're going to have to pay for their carbon emissions tax. This is about a carbon tax. They want to make you feel guilty for living. They want to regulate what you can use. Carbon is everything. It's everything you do. It's how much garbage you put out, how many kids you have, how much energy you use. I mean, it's unbelievable to me. And were they making you feel guilty for being a human being, Ryan?
No.
No? It didn't work on you? You weren't sad that you might use some styrofoam and that you've driven in an SUV or rode on a plane before?
I told him if they're going to regulate all this carbon stuff, at the beginning of Obama's election, he's all about his jobs and whatnot, but he's totally undercutting that.
Well, no, they'll say that this will create new green jobs, and what it'll really do is it'll create an industry where you snitch on your neighbor, much like in the UK now, for putting his garbage out too early or putting out too much garbage or, having another automobile there or having the lights on past a certain time or maybe he used too much water. I mean, it's all about ruling and regulating your life. It has nothing to do with saving the environment. I thank you for the call, Ryan. Let's go to Stephen in Missouri. Stephen, you're on the line.
Oh, thank you for taking my call.
You got it.
Yeah, I have a question. You had a lady on yesterday talking about forced vaccinations.
Yes.
And she wasn't for sure how they do it. Now, myself, I'm disabled. I get, disability and Medicare. And I believe they're going to make it mandatory for us first.
Well, I don't disagree. They'll say you can't get your benefits first if you're not inoculated. It's kind of like you can't go to the school unless you have your vaccinations. You have to fight tooth and nail. You may be correct. I really think that they're going to see how many people will line up voluntarily, and then they're going to implement force. And we'll see how they do that, whether that's through, their clergy response teams, which I'm sure it might be. They'll hold a lot of these events outside of hospitals, at churches, at community centers. I think they're going to try to go the soft route first, but 4.9 billion vaccinations really lets me know that they may go the hard route as well.
Yeah, I believe they will, because I've never had a vaccination, and I've never got sick. I've never had the flu since I was a kid.
Uh-huh. It's total bull. It's total hype. It's fear-mongering. I mean, people's immune systems are probably so down because they have taken all these antibiotics and they've given into fear, and they want this shot and this designer drug. And some people are just drugged out of their mind. I mean, one of the stories we ran probably 2 months ago was this thing called Abilify. And Abilify was for you if you were already on Lexapro or like 5 other drugs and you were still depressed. Well, instead of maybe getting off those drugs, take another drug on top of it. Take Abilify. I mean, we are the drugged up masses for real. No thoughts on that there, Stephen? Nothing? All right. We'll go to Tim in New Jersey. Maybe he has thoughts on that. Tim in New Jersey, what do you want to talk about, my friend?
Good evening, Jason. So I know you talked about this a couple of days ago, but when I watched those movies, the clips about the kids drilling, one line just like sent a chill up my spine, because it's the "we the people" line out of every totalitarian regime, and it was "I've been around since the beginning of time."
Yep. And what he's talking about is these paramilitary city year ads. And everybody's in a red jacket, white, black. That's the new color. It's actually really the old color. And they're doing, they're doing like militaristic things. They're putting their arm behind their back. They're doing jumping jacks. They're putting in pictures of Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., the Kennedy boys, Mother Teresa. They're using slogans from Obama, although not putting him in. They're alluding to him. Then in other commercials, that one girl is talking about how she's shedding her individual skin and taking on a universal skin when she puts on the jacket, and that this is to build a new and better world, my friend.
And you mentioned about your earlier days and about the whole environmental hysteria. You and I are the same age. I'm 28, and I remember like in elementary school and middle school the hysteria that they would place on us. Oh, tell your parents, to turn off the light, and don't have them use daylight, instead of lamplight, and all this other.
And make sure you recycle. We all had to recycle. Remember, plastics and styrofoams were going to kill the world. Landfills. Oh no!
And those awful CFCs.
Yeah, if you, in the 80s, you remember, even like, we were tiny in the 80s, but even like 10-year-old to 13-year-old girls would really get that bad 80s hairdo that was around, the ones that what I'm talking about, when the stars like Julia Roberts used to rock that big poofy hair and they had the hairspray.
Absolutely.
It's not as popular now, but people were using, they're like, oh my God, you're killing the environment.
Exactly, yep. I remember that hairstyle, like the 8 cans of hairspray to make the hair.
Well, you're from Jersey. I think you guys actually originated that hairstyle.
I believe so. With the hair bands in New Jersey, with Bon Jovi and the rest of them.
There's like a few remnants there. At least the last time I was in Jersey. It's not as prevalent, but there we go. Tim, I thank you for the call. We're getting into too much funny stuff with Jaron back there. All right, let's go to Mark in Oregon. Mark, you're on the line.
Hey, Jason. How you doing, man?
Good, man.
I'm doing pretty good. All considered, given the state of vaccination world, I'm not getting too depressed, I guess, just sufficiently.
Well, it really does look like they're gearing it up. I mean, I don't write extensive blogs, but over at my site, this is probably one of the longer blogs, being like, a couple paragraphs, and then on top of that, throwing a video in there and 3 different links. And I didn't even link to Executive Order 13375, where they can literally jail you for a year and charge you $250,000 if you don't take the shot or you don't